Hey y'all, it's Poseidon here with episode 15 of the Poseidcast. I hope everyone's been well. Honestly, I kind of forgot about this week's episode of Poseidcast. I've been really hard at work at the top 100 ranking for Mortal Kombat 1 for the summer 2024. I not only do I have to make the ranking and organize it and make sure it's ordered, give results and stuff like that, but I also have to get the information. So I have to find out if the player's sponsored and their social media information and stuff, and get that all sent over to the person who makes the graphics. So it takes a lot of time, and I was just working on it, and I realized oh wow, it's Friday. I need to record an episode of the Poseidcast. And I realized that the San Diego Comic Con announcement was going to happen, and I was like, is there really a point to make a podcast like a few hours before that announcement? So I decided to just let that announcement happen, and then I would record the podcast after that. So that's what happened. So big news, and we'll talk about that first, is that we're getting 6 new DLC characters, a story mode expansion, and I'm super excited. I think all the characters look super cool. I'm not really one to judge the DLC. Like if I already have Reptile and I have the characters that I enjoy in the game, and I'd even have those in 11. So I'd even have Ermac or Reptile or Sector, my 3 favorite characters in 11, and I still played that game for 4 years and never really complained about DLC. So I think it's kind of a little weird that you're gonna go and complain about it, but is what it is. But the DLC is it looks really cool. We're getting female versions of Sector and Cyrax. We're getting Noob. We're getting Scream or Ghostface, Conan the Barbarian, and we're getting T-1000, another Terminator. So it's interesting that they had another Terminator, but that gives me hope that maybe they'll add like a Heath Ledger, like Joker or something like that. That would be really cool. But we shall see how that goes. But yeah, the story mode expansion does look cool. There's Titan Havoc, and he's essentially trying to release chaos on the world, and essentially they're trying to fight against that. He creates this version of Noob from Bihan, and it's like, oh, he perfected me. And so that's kind of Noob's new story. It's not like Sub-Zero died and Quan Chi resurrected him. It's what Titan Havoc made. So it's cool, how they're rewriting these stories and still making them work with these characters who had these very specific niche introductions to the scene, or to Mortal Kombat. But I think it looks really cool. It's definitely very exciting. Hopefully we get an announcement for a second pro competition. That would be really cool, knowing when that's going to be. Prize pooling, what events it's going to be at, things like that. I hope that they don't announce it so soon. Like, oh, it's going to be at ECT again, in September, when ECT is in October, like they did last year. Or actually, I think they announced it in October when ECT was in October. But is what it is. I am just really looking forward to this new season of Mortal Kombat. I'm looking forward to the events we have coming up. I'm personally going to be going to Defend the North, which is happening next weekend. I wish there's more interest in that because it's in New York, which is one of the biggest places for fighting games, especially Mortal Kombat. And we got events like DreamCon who have over 100 entrances. And Defend the North is looking at 18 right now, which is pretty sad, but is what it is. I'm gonna go have a good time. We're also gonna be getting in Melee. Also, before I go too far into things, I also am going to work on getting. I'm gonna try to get more guests on here. It's not just gonna be me kind of ranting on the mic for a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna try to do that in the future. Get more guests on the podcast, so it makes it a little more interesting. But I'm gonna continue the season 2. Is looking to be really fun. I'm not really much of a story mode guy. I know a lot of people aren't, and maybe I'm not sure if you have to unlock anything with the story. But I know for this one you had to unlock Havoc. I think that's how you unlock Havoc, is playing the story. I didn't play the story for a very long time. I actually ended up sub-goaling the story mode, and someone hit it for me, so I ended up playing the story mode. I finished it in one day on the stream, and it got unlocked Havoc. And you can always cut the cutscenes and stuff if you want to. You don't have to really great interest in that. But I probably will play the story just because it looks so cool, and you're gonna pay for it anyway. But then you get all the DLC as well. So I don't know. It looks really cool. It's exciting to see what we're gonna get for the rest of Mortal Kombat, because they said this is going to be the longest supported Mortal Kombat game. They did say that about 11, and we ended after so we had Combat Pack 1, we got Aftermath, which was a story mode expansion, and 3 characters, and then we got another 3 characters with Rain, Rambo, and Melina. So we're getting at least the same amount of DLC already guaranteed that we got in 11, and there is no sign that they're going to be slowing down with this Mortal Kombat. So It's exciting, and this most recent patch, like we can talk about that because yeah, it just came out. This most recent patch is seems to be really cool. They made some cameos a lot stronger, like Cyrax, Sector, Goro, who I don't even know needed to be stronger, but definitely is stronger. Farah seems really cool. Basically makes your character a 50-50 mix-up machine. They also have a command grab. And I don't know. I think this game is going in a really good direction. It's definitely super exciting. It's fun. Like I've enjoyed the game for a while, but I'm definitely back to the point where I'm like, when I'm not playing the game, I'm like theorizing and thinking like, oh, what can I do? Like, oh, Tanya Farah, like what can I do with these characters? Like, oh, Takeda, like what cameos go well with him, and what combos? Oh, like what can I try using this with Reptile and get this Sector combo work when I'm not even playing the game. And I don't know. I'm not sure how many people are also like that, but I think this game is going in a really good direction, and I don't know how many people have a lot of complaints about it. I've seen people talk about Farah has failed Mortal Kombat community because it makes every character a 50-50 character with a command grab. But Chameleon basically made your character have insane neutral. They made your character top one neutral character in the game with just your cameo. So I think the fact that cameos, I mean, like Mavado makes you a OS damage monster. Basically, if anything hits, you can just complete your string, and if it hits, you get a full combo off it because you can option select it. And if they block it, then it just doesn't come out on block. Like these characters, like Janet, made your character like a combo extension machine, kind of, in different ways. Where like now everyone has throw combos, everyone has basically like a Sento stance. Everyone has like crazy damage combos, especially in the corner. Like, I don't see any big problems with these cameos that are coming out. I think they've been really good. They've been a lot of fun. And buffing cameos to kind of keep up with the DLC cameos that have been kind of broken, I think, is a really good call. Frostwall seems to be pretty good. I've seen some people play with it, and it seems to be quite strong. It's just, like I said, it's a very exciting time to be a Mortal Kombat fan. And I can't wait for the new games. I really hope we get a second Pro Comp. I hope people are inspired to enter tournaments like Jiraru Sundays on weekends. We're getting a new season of the Coliseum as well, starting next Sunday, and they're going to be doing EU versions as well, like a worldwide version. So I think there might be like a South America version too. I'm not 100% sure all the details on it, but we're definitely getting it in North America. And they said like abroad. I'll have to look into it more and they kind of explained that because they just kind of had like a little like trailer that was a couple minutes long, so we didn't get like a full breakdown on exactly what's happening from Aquaman. He announced it when he was streaming, co-streaming with Rips Arena when they were doing a Rips Arena event. I think it was like a Takeda versus Smoke event. So that's super cool. It's something I really look forward to. Champion of the Realms basically said that, yeah, we're going to basically be doing seasons until Mortal Kombat 1 is done. So we don't expect Champion of the Realms to go anywhere. So those are the two biggest, basically, online tournaments that we have for Mortal Kombat 1 going on now. And shout out to me for helping TO Champion of the Realms. So now they have, they've always had a great experience, great player experience stuff, but I'm happy that I was able to make the player experience a little better because they have such high production value and the events are so good and so big that they just didn't have all the ability to pay so much attention to the players. So now they have me who can just pay sole attention to the players and report scores, do issues, stuff like that. So Champion of the Realms went from the best event to the super best event to play in. But shout out to them, shout out to Caboose, shout out to Destroyer for putting on those events, shout out to Aquaman for putting on the Coliseum. Shout out to Rips Arena for doing Rips Arena. There's so many events to play in online, and there's just been so many offline events. There's DreamCon going on this weekend. I actually don't know when it's streamed and don't know when it's playing. I would have made a video on it, but I have no idea when that's going on. So that's what it is. But I'll definitely make sure to update how that's going. But there's some really big names there. There's Gambler. There's Enzo, who won on a huge run at Evo, who we'll talk about here shortly. People like AJ, top 100 player. We got Too Easy, another top 100 player. Like people like Infinity Legend was top 100 in the 2023 rankings. You have, I think, Dark Elite is gonna be there. Texas, like I said, there's like 5 major hubs for Mortal Kombat, and Texas is one of them, at least in North America. So it's like Texas, California, Midwest, like Chicago-ish area. Tri-state, so New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, the tri-state area, and then there's Florida, and those are like the major hubs for Mortal Kombat. And basically, if you're in one of those areas, then you probably have some sort of local that you can go to, and that's cool. You know, shout out to locals. Definitely go to your locals. Those are the most slept on part of the fighting game community. Locals are just the greatest, and you should be going to them, or your regionals, or then if you have tournaments local on. But I'm so surprised that, like I said, Defend the North, looking like it's only going to have like 18 entrances. That's so mind blowing to me. Even with all these big tournaments, like I said, DreamCon has over 100 entrances, and it's the week after Evo. And I get, we said Combo Breaker, CEO, Evo, and people are just not looking to like travel right now. They just kind of want to chill and relax. Or right before that, I mean, we had Combo Breaker, Last Chance Qualifier, CEO, Evo. Like in like a 2-month span, we had basically all 4 of those. So people who have went to all of them, or went to a decent amount of those, are just feeling, maybe a little burnt out and they don't want to keep going. That's understandable. Maybe they're all thinking this is a bit of an off season, but the fact that an event like DreamCon can have over 100 entrances, definitely a bit disappointing. That event like Defend the North, that has been around for so long in New York City, one of not only the hubs for Mortal Kombat, but one of the best hubs for the fighting games in general. I'm sorry about that noise, but I'll try to get it cut out, but we'll see. But yeah, so it's just a little bit sad to see, but that's what it is. But Mortal Kombat is looking like it's on the come up, and super excited for that. Let's go and talk about Evo that happened this past weekend. So we're going to talk about the results that happened. I think some big things to take away are, one, Zeus is definitely like an elite player, can be basically anyone on any given day. Definitely look out for him on season 2. So he won the Brazil region for the qualifying spot for Final Combat, which is huge because Brazil is insanely stacked. And like you said, you have players like Conquer, Agamotto I, Killer Genak, Brian Loran. There's just so many really good players that I'd say Agamotto. There's a ton of good players in that region, and Zeus was able to win and get the Final Combat spot, which should have been enough. But then goes to Final Combat, beats Unjust, loses a Heartbreak Heats at Debrosive, so doesn't make top 8. And then goes to Evo and makes winners finals and gets 3rd place. Like, this guy's absolutely nuts, and definitely should be on the lookout. Probably a top 10 player in the world, or somewhere close to that. We had people like Dialogue make top 6. This dude just absolutely insane. Has played so many close sets against Sonic Fox. Hasn't been able to clutch it out, but like he keeps getting like playing like he lost to Nicholas game 5. So like he like at Combo Breaker he loses to Sonic Fox game 5, then loses to Scorpion Bronze game 5, then Evo loses to Sonic Fox game 5, then loses to Nicholas game 5. Texas Showdown he wins, winner side. CEO he wins, winner side. Like, this guy's absolutely insane at Mortal Kombat and needs to be treated as probably a top 10 player in the world. This guy's absolutely nuts, and someone who probably, if there is a second pro count, will be someone who's heavily favored to make Final Combat, as he should be, with the General Shaw, the best General Shaw in the world. That's absolutely insane. Plays with so much confidence. Very good player. Another one I want to talk about was Enzo. Enzo shows up. So Enzo actually finished in my top 100 ranking for the summer at 104, and that was before Evo. He got like a 9th place at Texas Showdown. He got 9th at DreamHack Dallas. Those events weren't like the hugest events either, so those are very good runs. Like, getting 9th place at those tournaments is good, but it wasn't like good enough to be like, oh, he's definitively a top 100 player. He's very good. I know he was really good, and he top 8'd like SRS the week before Evo too, so I knew he had some momentum. I didn't know he was going to go on a run like this though. But the dude shows up, and the top 100 rankings are already solidified before Evo, so there's nothing I can do about moving his placement. At least with integrity, I could have been like, oh no, he was actually a top 50 player. But he shows up, he makes it out of his pool, which was basically expected, and then he beats Conqueror with Quan against Kenshi, which is notably a bad matchup for Quan because Quan's armor. Well, that's one of the big things is you need good armor against Kenshi. And if you have good armor, someone like Lao, Kenshi's hate Lao, that's considered one of his worst matchups. But Quan has just terrible armor. It comes out so slow that like he's so easy to go overbreak people. Enzo was still able to win that matchup. Those beats Gur in Quan Garrus, which is a hard matchup for Garrus, but Quan is still Gur overcomes bad matchups all the time. So Enzo was able to beat Gur. Enzo loses to, I think, Sonic, or yeah, I think he ends up loses to Sonic or Unjust, or maybe he loses to Unjust. I don't know. He loses on Winter Side after he beats those two players, so he's guaranteed top 24 losers after beating Gerb. Then he goes and he beats Blue, an up and coming Homelander player who I'm not sure if is still on Homelander because of the most recent nerfs that we can talk about as well. But then beats Blue 3-2, who Blue went on a run, beat a bunch of good players, and then beats King Gambler with Quan Johnny, another bad matchup for Quan, and then ends up losing to Unjust to barely miss top 8 and get 9th place. Absolutely crazy run. I want to make a video on that run exclusively because none of his sets were on stream. They call it the best run that ever happened. The best run that nobody saw. The best Mortal Kombat run that nobody ever saw. Something like that. Because it was absolutely insane. A run to 9th place that was very impressive. The biggest Mortal Kombat 1 tournament. This guy showed up and showed that he's one of the best players in the world. Very, very good on Enzo. Yeah, I mean, those are the big ones I want to talk about. I mean, there's definitely others. As I said, that Blue guy made top 24. Big Boy made top 24 as well. Omni-Man player. Some players that you may not be in much in the spotlight going on. Huge runs. Retro showed up to Evo and got top 24. The Katana specialist. Doesn't really compete too often, but is insanely good at the game. Trains with people like Sonic Fox. Is just one of the best players in the world. Has been playing the game of Mortal Kombat for a very, very long time. And it's just absolutely nuts. If you ever get a chance to play Retro, you know just how good Retro is. And they showed up. Beat players like Just Nasty, beat players like Gur to make winner side top 20, or not winner side, loser side top 24. But still very aggressive nonetheless, with over 600 entrances. But yeah, I mean, Evo was it was so much fun to watch. A great viewer experience. Like so much character variety until top 6, and people like to comment in top 6. I'm on the Tom Brady. I even added him. I was like, are you gonna talk about all the character variety before, or are you just gonna watch top 6 and talk about that? He's like, why do people care about pools matches and stuff like that? But the thing is that pools matches are so cool, and even if they are one-sided, is because those the people who show up and don't make it out of pools are so very important to the health of the competitive community. So whether you play online or offline, you go to majors or locals, the people who don't do good but still show up and sign up and knowing that they're not going to win the tournament, but they're going for the experience to get matches, to get tournament experience, those are so important to the community because those people come out in droves. Like there's 642 entrances at Evo. 150 of those people are going to go 0-2. Almost 300 of them are going to go 0-2 or 1-2. Like that's half the people, and that's what half the people who want to Street Fighter and Evo. There was over 5,000 entrances. Almost more people are going to go 0-2 in Street Fighter 6, or more people went 0-2 in Street Fighter 6 at Evo than entered Mortal Kombat. And those people who go 0-2 aren't going to Evo thinking they're going to win. They're going to Evo for an experience. They want to be able to play. They want to give it their all. They want to see where they're at. In the competitive community, we want to get that experience on the biggest stage, and the Mortal Kombat community really needs to find a way to tap into that because it's so important. And we treat the top players with such priority, and the 0-2ers and the 1-2ers aren't given much. I remember I went to a tournament, King of Upstate, and this guy Monk, who's from Syracuse, put up money for the prize pool for at least Super Smash Bros. Melee. And also the amateur bracket. So if you go 0-2 or 1-2, you have a chance to enter an amateur bracket or a redemption bracket, if you will. And the redemption bracket made the person who won the redemption bracket made more money than some of the people who made top 8. And as someone who I got 9th place at the tournament, I was like, what? Like I could have just 1-2 the tournament and I could enter that and win the money. He's like, dude, like the 0-2ers and the 1-2ers are the ones who make the tournaments possible. Like they deserve respect, and they deserve to get something too. And I was like, that is a very good point. I 100% agree with that sentiment. It does a lot for sandbagging, but I'm someone who has a lot of competitive integrity. Like I'm not going to just sandbag and go 0-1-2 as much as I say like, oh, I'll do it for the money. I probably wouldn't do that, and I'd probably just try to win the tournament. Fortunately, I got 9th place, but I think it's really cool. I think that's a great sentiment. Shout out to Monk, absolute goat, for having that idea, because I think that's very fair. I'm not sure if that's like a universal way to get more 0-2ers and 1-2ers to go to tournaments, but I digress. That is basically is what it is. But yeah, we got to find some way to tap into that potential because It is, but like I don't know, I've been saying, it's so cool that we have the next season of Mortal Kombat already. Takeda looks super fun, although people saying he is not good. I think he's a very with punish, zoning, keep your distance, make your opponent whiff, capitalize on that because he gets good damage, especially with cameos. His buttons are huge in some situations. He has zoning capabilities. He's able to jump and kind of hook and then kind of get away, get in and out super good. Something like Sector, you shoot a Sector missile, and then you kind of hook grab your way in, and he's a strong character. In my opinion, I think he has a lot of potential. I think people when a character, you can't rush down with the character, people kind of seem to judge them as not that great. So someone like Quan Chi, where you can't really rush down with Quan, people are like, oh wow, this character just sucks, this character's terrible. Like Takeda, you can't rush down with Takeda, this character sucks. Someone like Peacemaker or Homelander, who had zoning capabilities, but you could rush down as well, great characters, amazing characters, which they were obviously very strong. You got someone like, why can't I remember? First, Omni-Man. Omni-Man was kind of like mid because like he was like you kind of had rushdown potential, but like he didn't have like the greatest buttons. He had highs and gaps and stuff. So like they were like he's a mid character, and I don't know. I just think that Ermac super rushdown. And people were saying he was bad. So I don't know. Maybe I have no idea what I'm talking about. But like you can rush down with Ermac. Trust me, you can rush down with him. But like his damage isn't great, but his cancels and stuff. For so much just different pressure opportunities and deaths and race. Ermac's a very good character. And we have Takeda now too, which is super cool. Some of like the character changes. Sub-Zero seems to be a bit better. Natara seems to be very strong. Just not a dive kick you can just launch meterlessly with. You can kind of throw that in. If you just throw an amped one, it's completely safe. Obviously, it could be up blocked, but Li Mei seems to be pretty strong as well. The last round of buffs and then these buffs, I think, really helped her. I think she's a pretty strong character. I don't think she's too bad at all. Scorpion also seems to be not too bad. There's only one person really crushing with Scorpion right now. That's MK Javier, who did get top 6 at EVO, kind of running back to that. But that was before the buffs, so he just got another round of decent buffs. I think this character is pretty good, and with Farah, he's broken with Farah. He might be the best character with Farah. I think Reptile is also very good with Farah, and I'm going to make a video on that probably tomorrow, going over that. But I said I still have all the stuff. I really need to train for Defend the North, but I really need to get this top 100 done. And I am so looking forward to just being done with this top 100 ranking, getting everything out there, because once I do, I can just be done with it, and I kind of focus just on content and getting better at the game. I have Defend the North coming up, as well as other tournaments. It's just, it's an exciting time, and like I said, I honestly kind of forgot about the podcast, so I'm ranting a little bit here, just trying to drag it out and get everything that I wanted to talk about out. But we have the season 2. We have EVO. I mean, what's the next in competition? Like we have DreamCon and Defend the North, and we have ECT in October. But I truly wonder, because I'm not sure how big an event like NEC, this year or last year, 2023, had only like a little over 70 entrances, and that was 3 months after the game came out. So this year at NEC, I don't know how big the game is going to be, but we'll see. I look for, and then after there's Frosties in January, that should be a pretty big tournament, and then I think like Texas Showdown in April. I don't know if there's much between then those two. I mean, sure there is things, but nothing that's probably going to be too significant. And then we're back, Combo Breaker, CEO, EVO again next year. Hopefully we're at EVO. I put out a tweet saying EVO's not a guarantee. We weren't supposed to be at EVO year 2, but Tweety commented back and said, hey, there's new people running EVO. I'm pretty sure EVO MK is basically going to be a lock every year unless something happens. So that'll be cool. I really want to try to make it to EVO next year, but we'll see how everything goes. I appreciate everyone, like I said, supporting the content. I'll try to get more guests on here, so it's not just me ranting for 30 plus minutes about various things that are going on, and it can be a little bit more interesting, a little bit more back and forth, and you can get more of a perspective on things that are going on in the community. But yeah, we just have so much to look forward to. The new DLC pack, new season of Coliseum, Series Champion Announce finales going on. We have 2 more weeks of Short Review Sundays before we have the finale for that. Then we're gonna likely do another season of Short Review Sundays. Definitely make sure to shout to Short Review TV. Definitely make sure I'll leave a link in the description. If you're not sub to Short Review TV already, you're sub to me, but not sub to Short Review TV. And you want to support me more, definitely go sub to Short Review TV, because that is a project that I work on, that I started with my boy Not Scash, and we have been doing it for years, and we're just going to keep doing events. We also have people like Silver Sandbag, who does all the streaming stuff. We have Silver as an editor. We have Abyss, who basically is like an investor. He does some editing as well. But those are the main guys. We have Zanzun on commentary on the Shirayu TV team. So it's just we're trying to do everything we can, and the bigger those events get, the more people we have watching and stuff like that, the bigger the events are, the bigger we can make the events, because we're getting more money coming in. So that'll be really cool. We're going to be opening up more merch stores soon. I'm actually getting samples of stuff for Shirayu TV, and once I get those and we find out that they look good, we're going to go and launch the store. That's going to be that's really exciting, because I know people have asked me about where can we get a shirt, or where can we get XYZ stuff. So I really look forward to that, opening that, eventually having another way to get some money for Shirayu TV, so we can run bigger and better events for you guys, because that's really what I want to do. I just want to be able to put more time. Like, I would love to, for the next version of the top 100 ranking, people have brought up, like, hey, you should talk about like what the player brings to the table, why they're ranked here, what are their results, who they beat, and you should talk about each player. I was like, I would love to do that so much, but it's just so much time just making the ranking in general, making sure it's accurate, making sure I'm not hosing anyone, which I'm sure I still do. And like, this is even with having a committee. I had people like the Alphabet, Sparks, Jerry Dankfield, all helping me with the top 100 ranking. Like, they're not like they played a huge part, but people like the Alphabet have literally sat down with me, and we went through the entire top 100 from 1 to 100, and we talked about, this is why this player is there, this is what they did, this is who they beat, this is the results they had. It's like, oh, maybe this player should go up or down, or maybe this player should be above this player. So shout out to the Alphabet, but shout out to the Sparks and Jerry Danfield as well, for just being part of the committee and helping out. But I would love to do that too if I could just put more time into this stuff. But it's all a work in progress. I definitely want to make sure that I'm doing right by myself as well, because I am definitely one to burn myself out with just all these various projects. Sorry about that. But yeah, I work really hard, and I'm doing all these things because I'm still a competitor too. Like, I love to compete at the game. I want to eventually earn my way onto the top 100 ranking as well. I don't want to just throw myself on there. The last 2 ones, I honestly didn't consider myself, and it's not because I'm not willing to put myself on for some sort of integrity reason. I didn't put myself on because I didn't deserve it, and I want to be put on the day that I do deserve it. So I still want to work for that. So I'm going to defend the North, and I have a melee tournament there as well. So I'm going to be working on that, and I have various other things, content ideas that I'm going to be working on. I'm going to be making a Reptile Ferret guide. I want to make a video on why Mortal Kombat is getting so much hate, but it's all going to have to come after this top 100 ranking is made. Once that off the table and stuff, and I really hope that people get more behind the idea, because I think it's really good for the scene. It can help people get the sponsors, because there's a lot of people who are on here, top 100 level players, that just aren't sponsored, and it can help people, get sponsorships more. Like, hey, like, I'm this good at MK, I'm only getting better. If you want to support me, help me get to tournaments and stuff, maybe give me a small salary, I can, really grind in this game and become a top player for your esports organization and get more exposure for your esports org. Because think of like a company like FlyQuest. Like, I wouldn't know what FlyQuest was if they didn't sponsor JMOOC, but they sponsor JMOOC, and now they're I view them as one of the biggest esports orgs, and they probably are. I mean, they have players like Punk too. Like, it's insane. What a sponsorship can do for both a player and vice versa. What a player can do for a sponsor. So, and it's cool to, recognize people who are sponsored players and be like, hey, this player is doing super good. Make sure you're treating them well. and just getting more exposure for the community. So I really hope more people get behind the idea if they really really care about the competitive community, because I think it's a good idea. It's not necessarily like, oh, so I can grow. I just think that in terms of the community having something like this, because not everyone's able to go to every tournament. Not every result is viewed the same. Like if I win my 6-person local, that's not as impressive as Enzo going and getting 9th place at Evo. Like Enzo getting 9th place at Evo is so much more impressive than me winning my local. But one is 1st place and the other is 9th place. So it's just kind of showing like the weight of tournaments and the severity, and like just because you get 2nd place at a tournament doesn't mean that it's more impressive than getting 9th place at a super major. And it's just getting more precedence around going to these offline tournaments, because that's a big comparison. So it's like the biggest thing that I look at for the top 100 is if you're going to offline tournaments and if you have good placements at offlines. Like you can still, there's people who are in the top 20 who didn't go to any offlines from the 2023 ranking, but now that there's so many majors, there's Texas Showdown, Combo Breaker, CEO, there was Frosty Fostings, there was like big regional events that are happening and stuff. I mean, there's Evo that's going to be towards the next one, but there's all these big events that if you're not going to them, it's understandable. It makes sense. I mean, even LCQ and Last Chance Qualifier, and Final Combat, there are all these big events. So if you're not making any sort of effort to go to these events, that's cool and that's fine. You can still make your you can make money playing online. Like I said, there's all these big amazing online events, and you can get your prestige, and people, you can get recognized as a player just doing super well in these online events. But if you really, really, really want to prove yourself and you want to, make runs that go down in history, you definitely are going to want to go to offline tournaments, whether it's your local, your regional, a major like CE, a Combo Breaker, or Evo, whatever it is. I think it's super important to be going to offlines if you want to. Obviously, you do not have to, but I think that's for the health of the scene. You definitely need thriving locals, big regionals, and just crush numbers at majors. But we'll see what happens. I said I hope the top 100 helps with that. I'm kind of ranting at this point, so I think I'm going to end the podcast here. We talked about the DLC, we talked about the top 100, and we talked about Evo. And maybe I missed something there, but it's what it is. I'll make sure to get it at the next episode of the Poseidcast. But there it is. There you have it, episode 15 of the Poseidcast. Please make sure to drop a sub to the channel if you have not already. I'm so close to getting to 1,000 subs, and that is going to be such a huge marker for me. Such a huge goal that I'm going to be able to reach here soon. And yeah, is going to do it. Thank you all so much. Also, the Injustice 2 tournament got like 1,000 views on the last YouTube, so if you want to go check out Shirabu TV's YouTube channel, and leave a link to that in the description as well. Leave a link to the Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. If you can go sub to all of those, or follow and sub to all of those, it's completely free. That would be greatly appreciated. Hey guys, that's going to do it. Episode 15 of the Poseidcast. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys at the next video.